So, Ponycon has come and gone, but it has left behind some spoilers, and since then we've had an official set name, Defenders of Equestria, and an official announcement, which I'll touch on after talking about the spoilers. Just so you know, the image quality is inconsistent because this is the best images that I could get at the point where I was making this video. Alrighty, so let's get started with the spoilers. And don't forget, I'm talking about for limited. So, Rainbow Dash Wonderbolt's start side is, when you confront this card's problem, turn this card over. And this is the same for all of the spoiled mains, so I'm just going to talk about boosted sides from this point onwards. Rainbow Dash Wonderbolt's boosted side says, your flipped cards have +2 power. She also has a home limit of 4. So she's okay. She basically gives you +2 in a face-off, even if she's not involved in it, which isn't bad actually. That's quite a nice static ability to have. But in comparison to all sorts of mains that we've seen in the past, this one's quite underwhelming, and for limited, it's just a very basic 3 power friend with a nice upside and doesn't do anything special. Applejack, tooled up, has immediate during a face-off, exhaust this card to flip an additional card. Now I really like this one because once again you don't need it to be in the face-off for you to be able to do this. So it's really useful for say beating troublemakers in limited and things like that, which has a lot of potential. Pinkie Pie Cruise Director has immediate during a face-off, exhaust this card to put a 1 power Earth Pony token into play, which is pretty underwhelming, but then again, playing pink, you'll just be glad that your main isn't as awkward as the old Pinkie Pie to flip, for limited sake I'm talking. But yeah, the ability is very underwhelming. Applejack just feels better than this in every way, and even Rainbow's ability seems more useful as it just sort of gives +2 power to your flipped card, rather than giving you another power friend. Princess Twilight Sparkle, Professor Sparkle, has immediate pay 1 to give a Troublemaker +2 or -2 power until end of the turn. Now this card makes me think that Troublemakers are going to have a big place in the limited format, because otherwise those two abilities are going to be very niche and make it almost a vanilla card. This is going to be really good for your pre-release, if there's a good amount of Troublemakers in your pool, or just in the sets in general. Because if you're expecting your opponents to use Troublemakers, this completely nerfs them, because you can just have the action tokens from the start of the turn and just go, cool, I'm going to beat that because its power's -5. But, yeah. Basically, it's a card that doesn't function on its own and it needs other cards to make it work, but if it does, it's going to be really good. Rarity Fashion Mogul reads, when an opponent starts a face-off, you may exhaust this card to banish one of their friends until the end of the face-off. This reads just constructed to me. In limited, it's going to be very hard to set up this card giving advantage or anything like that, because you want to usually be confronting problems, and to do that you end up initiating the double face-off rather than letting them do it, so you don't even get to use the ability. Other than that, it's easy to flip, you can't complain too much, and it's just going to be a 3-for-3 friend in most cases, but in the cases where you get, like, Troublemakers again, like with the Twilight, it has a lot of potential to do a lot of annoying things. And finally there's Fluttershy Nurturing Nature, which reads, at the start of your score phase, you may exhaust this card to contribute its power to confronting a problem. Now this one, for me, is the standout card for limited, because it seems crazy. It's just 3 free power for confronting problems once you've flipped her. She can go home after your first double face-off no matter who initiates it, and then you automatically have 3 power confronting to a problem whenever you need it. That is absolutely incredible to me. Considering how low cost all the problems seem to be nowadays, it seems really good. Like, you need one friend and exhaust her and you've confronted a problem. After that we have 7 other cards, which is a friend for each colour, and a Troublemaker. So let's start off with the blue one. Sky Stinger, a 3-for-3 with 4 requirement, reads, when you have 3 or fewer cards in your hand, this card has Swift, and when you move this card to a problem, you may move another one of your characters to this card's problem. So we have a wildfire-like effect on a friend that can gain Swift. This card seems really powerful, really easily, because in limited you often use up a lot of cards and have low card count, because card advantage is quite key. So yeah, this guy's probably going to have Swift a lot of the time and just move an incredible amount of power, considering that he can move your main with him, for 1 action token. Easily a rare, maybe even higher, not quite sure. Then we have Big Max Sir Biggin, you know, from the D&D episode. As a 2-for-2 with 2 requirement, he reads, when you play a Troublemaker, you may put a +1 power counter on this card. I think this is very good, but obviously, like with the Twilight or the Rarity mains, you need there to be a good number of Troublemakers, otherwise it's kind of pointless, which is part of the reason why I hope it's an uncommon, but I'm kind of predicting that all of these cards are going to be rares, all the friends that have been spoiled and the Troublemaker. I just kind of hope it's uncommon because it doesn't seem powerful enough to be a rare to me. Sugarbell Muffin Mayhem is a 3 for 4, so it's losing the vanilla test with 3 requirement, but let's see what it does. When an opponent confronts this card's problem, you may dismiss an opposing friend here. Now this seems really good if the removal is bad. If the removal is bad, this card is crazy, because it is going to be the best removal in the set. If the removal is good, unfortunately, chances are you'll pay 4 action tokens, it won't do anything, and they'll get rid of it before it does anything. Which will be a real shame, because that bit of text is very powerful. I just hope it has the opportunity to be powerful. I'd say this is easily a rare as well, because of just the text on it. And so Sunset Shimmer is a very oh wait, they nerfed it. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Alright, let's start this again. Sunset Shimmer, Clever Calculator, is a 4 for 3 with 3 requirement. It has Meticulous 2 and Immediate. During a face-off, put this card and an opposing friend on top of their owner's decks. Now, even with the little face-off restriction, this card is very good. A 3 for 4 is perfectly fine stats with 3 requirements, so it's not actually that difficult to play. Meticulous 2 is very powerful, and that ability to remove something just adds icing on top of the cake that is this really powerful card. I'm easily seeing this to be a rare, probably even higher at Super. Plaid Stripe Spoonie is a 3 for 3 with 3 requirements that is unique. Need to make note of that, it is unique, and reads, opponents pay +1 to play cards with cost 2 or less. Now for limited, this does a lot less than you really think it does, because a lot of the time, small investments happen at the start of the game, and later on you're making bigger investments in bigger friends. So this, often the tax effect won't be as relevant, but I can still say it being good, and it's no reason to not run it if you get it, because a 3 for 3 is fine, and that upside will be relevant here, there and everywhere, but it's not as crazy good as you want it to be. I'd say this is easily a rare because of tax effect, and also once again could be higher, but I doubt it. Mr. and Mrs. Shy, Permissive Parents, is a 3 for 3 with 3 requirement, and it makes your friends at home have Swift. That is like a really good yellow card. Like, oh my gosh, is it good. It means all these 2 for 2s and all the smaller friends, even the tokens you've probably made, have the potential to actually get used again because suddenly they have Swift. And don't forget, it's going to give itself Swift, which is also really good. A 3 for 3 with Swift at home is a card I'd play. So yeah, really good. Seems like rare because it's got such a encompassing effect. And the last thing we have is the Changeling Barricade. You shall not pass because references. It's a 4-power troublemaker with 0 bonus points, and when this card is uncovered, put a token copy of this card into play face up at each other problem. This is really good, and I wish that this is common, because then I can have spare copies, put them in my deck box and just throw them out there when it makes token copies. But I'm talking constricted. For limited, this card is incredible. Just gumming up every problem with a troublemaker that has no bonus points is really useful and will really get on your opponent's nerves. It's just going to put a roadblock in their way that's going to be quite annoying and quite difficult to get through. For just the 1 action token, it does a lot of work for the 1 action token you put into it. So now that I've talked about all the cards, I just have a small point to make about the announcement. On it, it specifies that it'll be a booster-only release, so it seems like we get no intro decks. But more importantly, this makes me think that Enterplay may be shelving side products for now, which I think is a shame. Hopefully I'm just misinterpreting this, but I guess only time will tell. And with that, that's everything I have to say. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Hello there in the credits with me. So the only thing I have to say this time is that someone's asked me if I could help them with a stream, and because I support everyone trying to make more content, I said, yeah, I'll give him a hand. So expect an announcement about that at some point, because obviously if I'm involved in something, I'll tell everyone about it.